Recently, I got a call about making content on websites ADA compliant. Basically, is it necessary and how do you go about it? So I thought I'd talk a little bit about that today because sometimes in our haste, we don't think about making sure our content is accessible to everyone. So now understand this is a little bit out of my purview and definitely not my area of expertise. But I'll share with you what knowledge I do have and give you some links so you can follow up and get more information. For this video, I'm going to make it short and sweet, but you can find more information on accessibility requirements on my website blog, and I'll give you that link as well so you can check it out. All right, so the Federal Americans with Disabilities Act, or the ADA, requires that certain businesses make accommodations for people with disabilities like wheelchair accessibility, access to service animals, and use of Braille. Part of that in 2010, the ADA started to include web presence, which requires businesses to maintain an accessible website. And what that means is that your website has to be designed and developed so that people with disabilities can use it. And you have to address disabilities that affect access to the web, including auditory, cognitive, physical, speech, and visual. If you're wondering, does my website need to be ADA compliant? Ask yourself the following questions. 1, does my business benefit the public? 2, is my business a local, state, or government agency? 3, am I a private employer with 15 or more employees? If you answered yes to any of these, then your site needs to be ADA compliant. So, how do you make sure your website is accessible and that it is ADA compliant? You have to make sure that people who are blind, deaf, and who have to navigate by voice can engage with the content on your website. And there are standards for website accessibility that were created by the Worldwide Web Consortium, or the W3C, and several other groups to help web content producers make sure the content is accessible to everyone. These standards are called Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, or WCAG. Now, here are some tips on how you can get started making your site accessible. I'm only going to address those tips that relate to content. I'm not shading anyone, but my expertise is in content, and that's what I focus on. So for those designers and developers out there who happen to stumble on this, you can find accessibility tips in the links on my site. Now, the following basic recommendations are from the W3C, and they're examples of how your business can address accessibility issues on your site. Provide informative, unique page titles. So for each web page, you have to provide a short title that describes the page content and distinguishes it from other pages. Use short headings to group related paragraphs and that describe the sections. Write your link text so that it describes the content of the target. Don't just use ambiguous text such as click here or read more. And for every image, write alternative text that describes it. Create transcripts and captions for multimedia, such as podcasts. You have to provide a transcript, or for training videos, provide captions. And make sure that instructions and error messages are clear, easy to understand, and they don't have a lot of technical language. And keep your content clear, concise, like write in short, clear sentences and paragraphs. Now, these are only recommendations for getting started in optimizing your content for accessibility. To ensure complete compliance, including site development design, go check out the full set of guidelines at this link. And also, the W3C has a list of tools you can check your site for ADA compliance on here, if you check out this link here. All right. If you fail to comply with the ADA, that means your business is open to lawsuits. And it's common for some attorneys to seek out non-compliant businesses, both in the physical and the digital space. So optimizing your website for accessibility and ADA compliance creates better content that's usable by more people. It also allows you to engage more people with your compelling content. All right, if you have any questions, hit me up at hello@thaiinkmedia.com. And to read the blog post with more information, go to my blog at www.thaiinkmedia.com. Thanks so much.